Those words are not a call to cruelty, but to clarity. Respect has always been a weapon, never a gift. Step into any room and you feel it instantly. Eyes glance, judgments form, hierarchies settle. In that moment, you are measured like a soldier standing on foreign soil. Are you advancing with armor, or are you unarmed and waiting to be dismissed? The enemy announces itself early. It is not another person, but the hesitation that clings to your shoulders, the weakness that leaks through your posture, the noise that tries to cover insecurity. History shows that rulers who commanded armies, courts, and nations never begged for recognition. Kings seized loyalty, generals demanded obedience, and sovereigns carved respect into the minds of their people by decisive action. They understood what Machiavelli meant. Authority is not handed out like bread at a feast. It is taken, maintained, and defended. The moment you start asking for it, you have already lost it. Today, the battlefield looks different, but the law has not changed. In offices, the one who enters apologetically is overlooked, while the one who enters with steady composure is noted without a word. In relationships, constant pleading for validation breeds contempt, while quiet presence builds gravity. Weakness is punished instantly, often without open confrontation. People withdraw their trust, opportunities vanish, and your influence evaporates the moment you project neediness. Respect does not tolerate desperation. Imagine two men walking into the same room. One enters loudly, trying to force attention with words that spill too fast. His need is visible, and the room resists him. The other enters silently, his posture upright, his gaze calm but firm. He says little, yet everyone feels his presence. The choice is obvious. One radiates command, the other pleads for scraps. Respect flows to the one who requires nothing, because his very being declares he already holds the throne. Carry yourself as if every step is a move on the chessboard of power. Eliminate weak language and replace it with decisive tones. Weak, I hope this is okay. Strong, this is the direction we take. Weak, I just wanted to say. Strong, here is my point. Each word is a soldier, and you are the general placing them with precision. Respect is seized, not granted. Take it with silence, claim it with posture, and defend it with consistency. Rule your presence, rule your words, rule your mind. The throne is yours. The mind is your first throne, and if you cannot sit upon it with authority, you will be ruled by it. Every battle you face in the world begins with the invisible battle in your head. Thoughts are not harmless whispers, they are soldiers lined in formation, either loyal to your command or plotting your downfall. Weak thoughts dethrone you before you ever speak or act. A man who allows doubt to dominate his inner court will find himself stripped of influence long before others confront him. Machiavelli warned that men who cannot govern themselves cannot govern others, and history confirms it. Leaders who faltered in judgment often lost kingdoms, not because of external enemies, but because they could not master their own counsels of thought. Your greatest enemy often does not wear armor or raise a sword. It whispers inside the walls of your castle. Anxiety, hesitation, and insecurity are traitors working within. You may walk into a room prepared, but if your inner voice shouts weakness, your body betrays you, shoulders slump, eyes drop, tone falters. Others do not need to read your diary to know you have lost command. They sense it in your carriage and dismiss you instantly. Respect is not only what you project outward, but what you refuse to let collapse inward. If you permit inner enemies to run unchecked, you hand your throne away before the war even begins. Modern life feeds these traitors with constant noise. Screens, comparisons, and endless commentary erode self-command. You scroll, and with each glance at someone else's curated life, Your own throne feels shakier. You check for validation, and with each search for approval, you pay tribute to weakness. The result is simple: your crown tilts, and others notice. Respect is not given to the distracted king. It is given to the ruler who sits still, unwavering, commanding even in silence. To reverse this, you must establish throne rituals. Begin your day not by asking but by commanding. Speak to yourself as a sovereign issuing decrees. Declare your direction, your posture, your tone. Do not beg yourself into action with questions like, "Can I handle this?" Replace them with commands. "You will handle this." Language shapes loyalty. Weak: I'll try. Strong: I will. Weak: I hope. Strong: I decide. When your own mind hears authority, it falls in line. Picture yourself seated in a vast hall, banners overhead, the throne beneath you. Courtiers whisper. Doubts stir, but your voice cuts through. Each command you issue steadies the court, strengthens the walls, and arms your soldiers. This is not fantasy, it is practice. The man who rules himself radiates a presence that others cannot ignore. The morning is the battlefield where most victories are won before a single word is spoken. History shows why. Generals often struck at dawn because the enemy was weakest when half awake. Armies that mastered discipline in the early hours gained the advantage, while those who lingered in sleep were cut down before they could raise their shields. Dawn was not just a time of light, it was a time of judgment. The leader who commanded his men at sunrise commanded the outcome of the day. The same principle applies to you. The first hour is your campaign. If you seize it, you walk through the day as a ruler. If you lose it, every later effort is a recovery from defeat. The battlefield of the morning is crowded with silent assassins. The phone that glows with updates before you have even opened your eyes. The warmth of the bed that tempts you into surrender. The easy excuses that whisper that one more hour of sleep is harmless. These enemies cut with blades sharper than steel. They weaken resolve, strip discipline, and leave you defenseless before the day has even begun. Think of the snooze button not as a soft convenience, but as a dagger pressed against your ribs. Every time you yield, you accept the wound. You tell yourself you will fight later, but the war has already been lost. You march into your obligations bleeding discipline, and others can sense it. Colleagues notice the sluggish tone. Friends notice the lack of presence. Respect begins to erode, not because of what happened in public, but because of what you failed to conquer in private. To win, you must treat the morning as sacred ground. Rise with command, not hesitation. Do not negotiate with the bed. Stand, move, breathe, and act as though you were already in the presence of your rivals. Establish rituals that prepare your mind and body. Even small acts, a glass of water, a stretch, a moment of silence, are like soldiers lining up in formation. Each step signals that you are awake, alert, and armed. When others waste their dawn, you will already be advancing. They will stumble into the day half prepared, while you walk as if armored. The morning is not about perfection, it is about presence. Claim it, and you claim the hours that follow. Lose it, and you drag defeat through every task. The law is simple, brutal, and unchanging. Win the morning, and you win the war. Noise reveals weakness. Stillness conceals power. The rulers of history understood that silence was not emptiness, but a sharpened blade. Samurai prepared for combat with calm rituals, not loud declarations. Stoic philosophers trained themselves to endure storms without breaking posture or spilling words. Their strength was visible not through volume, but through the absence of it. A general who held his tongue until the decisive moment was more feared than one who wasted breath on threats. The soldier who stood unmoving at the line could break the will of the enemy before a strike was made. In your world, the law is the same. Modern life rewards the man who speaks less, but says more. In a meeting, the one who rushes to fill silence with explanations surrenders leverage. The one who waits, observes, and then delivers a single precise statement shifts the entire balance of the room. Negotiations follow this same pattern. Impatience exposes your position. Restraint makes others doubt their own. If you remain calm while someone challenges you, your silence unsettles them more than any counter-argument could. Picture a disagreement at work. Someone interrupts, insisting your approach is flawed. Instead of defending immediately, you hold still. You look directly, breathe slowly, and allow their words to echo without reply. The silence itself becomes unbearable, and they begin to over-explain, exposing cracks in their logic. When you finally respond with a clear, concise point, the weight of your restraint makes your words land like steel. Respect grows, not from what you argued, but from what you withheld. Stillness is not weakness. It is a crouching predator. The tiger does not roar before it pounces. It crouches in grass, unseen, and the silence terrifies more than the strike itself. Your presence must work the same way. Let others rush to prove themselves. Let them reveal their insecurity in endless chatter. You will remain composed, deliberate, and unreadable. Train yourself to control language. Weak, I just think. Strong, here is the point. Weak, sorry, but strong, this is my position. Weak words drain the edge of your blade. Strong words cut with precision, because they follow silence. Every pause before you speak sharpens authority. Weaponize stillness. Carry silence like a hidden sword. Use it to unsettle, to command, to remind others that your restraint is not emptiness but power waiting to be used. Silence is the shield and the sword of the sovereign. Mercy without calculation destroys rulers. Machiavelli observed that misplaced kindness often harms more than it helps, because it allows corruption to grow unchecked. Respect is not preserved by hesitation. It is preserved by clarity and the willingness to cut without apology. A commander who spares traitors endangers the loyal. A leader who refuses to punish weakness sends the signal that the throne can be challenged. History is filled with examples where hesitation led to downfall. Leaders who delayed decisive action lost armies, lands, and authority because they chose comfort over ruthlessness. The lesson is brutal but simple. Hesitation costs sovereignty. Your life demands the same principle. Weak habits, toxic people, and wasted hours erode respect as surely as open rebellion weakens a kingdom. The friend who consistently drags you into distraction is not harmless, they are a saboteur. The endless hours lost to scrolling and indulgence are not neutral. They are silent thieves that loot your time. The meal that dulls your energy, the conversation that drains your focus, the ritual of delay, all of these are enemies sitting at your table. Each day you allow them to remain, you lower your guard and hand away control. Respect requires boundaries carved in steel, not lines drawn in sand. Picture yourself as the executioner of your own court. The blade is not cruelty, it is clarity. Each strike removes what no longer serves your sovereignty. Cutting away the wasted hour creates freedom. Cutting away the toxic tie restores command. Cutting away indulgence strengthens the body that carries your authority. The executioner does not hesitate, because hesitation dishonors the throne. You must see every elimination not as loss, but as discipline. With every cut, the castle grows stronger. With every cut, your presence grows sharper. In practice, this means acting directly. End the conversation that wastes your time. Step away from the distraction the moment it appears. Replace weak phrases with decisive words. Weak, I'll see if I can. Strong, I will. Weak, maybe later. Strong, not now. The difference is not in tone, but in command. Language itself becomes an axe. When your words are cut cleanly, your actions follow. People will sometimes resist your boundaries. They may question why you step back or refuse certain habits. Handle it with calm leadership. Do not argue. State your decision with composure and let silence do the rest. The respect you lose by hesitation is regained tenfold through decisive calm. The law is harsh, but it is the price of authority. Eliminate weakness before it eliminates you. Every cut strengthens the throne. Appearances rule the world more often than truth. Machiavelli understood that men judge with their eyes before they judge with their minds. Julius Caesar draped himself in the robes of authority. Napoleon posed in portraits that projected command, and kings staged ceremonies to remind subjects of their supposed divinity. Each of them crafted a mask. The mask did not always match reality, but it shaped perception, and perception shaped loyalty. Authority is a performance. Respect flows not only to what is real, but to what is seen. You live in the same theater. Modern society is a battlefield of masks, and nowhere is it clearer than on social media. Images are curated, words are staged, and even silence is calculated. The one who understands the stage gains attention and influence. The one who ignores it fades into invisibility. This does not mean falsifying who you are. It means choosing how to present yourself with control. Every post, every expression, every gesture is a costume on the stage of respect. If you do not wear the mask intentionally, others will define it for you. Control your mask through language. Weak, I'm not sure, but maybe we could. Strong, here is the direction. Weak, I think this might work. Strong, this will work. Weak phrasing cracks the mask, revealing doubt. Strong phrasing fortifies it, even if the decision later shifts. The mask is not about pretending to know everything. It is about refusing to display weakness that undermines your throne. Imagine a stage where every person you meet is watching for cues. Do not stumble through it, unaware. Place yourself deliberately, like an actor who knows the scene is his. Sit with posture. Hold the silence longer. Speak with clipped precision, and exit without apology. Over time, this consistency forges a reputation that follows you. People will say you command rooms even before you speak. Not because of hidden power, but because you rule appearances with strategy. Respect is not a mirror of your private doubts. It is the mask you wear with precision. Rule the mask and you rule the audience. Your mask is your crown. Respect begins with execution. Not of others, but of weakness within yourself. If you allow hesitation, self-doubt, or addiction to remain alive in your mind, they will sabotage you before the world ever has the chance. An untrained mind is not neutral. It is a battlefield overrun by traitors. The most effective form of psychological warfare is carried out not against enemies outside, but against the patterns of thought and behavior that erode confidence from the inside. Cognitive behavioral principles reveal this truth clearly. Repeated habits shape beliefs, and destructive habits reinforce destructive identities. If you let weakness live, it will write your story for you. Picture yourself as an assassin moving through a dark corridor. Each doubt and hesitation stands like a shadowed figure ahead of you. The hesitation to speak, the urge to please, the fear of rejection, they all wait, armed. You cannot negotiate with them. You cannot reason with them. They must be eliminated. With every strike, you reclaim space. You silence the approval-seeking voice, and clarity returns. You cut down the distraction of constant noise, and focus sharpens. You strike at the habit of hesitation, and confidence begins to stand tall. The corridor is long, but every execution creates freedom. To carry out this mission, you must act without delay. Replace weak inner language with decisive commands. Weak: I'll try to stop. Strong: I stop now. Weak: I hope I can change. Strong: I decide. When your mind hears strength, it begins to obey. Each command is an execution order. Each act of discipline is a clean strike. Over time, this creates an inner environment where no traitor survives. The outer world mirrors the inner. When you kill weakness within, your presence changes without explanation. Others sense it. They see a person who no longer negotiates with hesitation, who no longer begs for permission to stand tall. Respect follows, because the first battle was won inside the walls of the self. Carry the assassin with you daily. Use the blade of discipline to execute weakness before it can betray you. Kill weakness, or it will kill respect. Every choice you make either feeds the wolf or strengthens the sheep. The wolf thrives on discipline, hunger, and sharpened instincts. The sheep thrives on comfort, distraction, and dependence. Modern life tempts you constantly to nourish the sheep. It hands you a glowing screen that pulls your attention away from purpose. It offers food that dulls your body, indulgence that drains your energy, and endless entertainment that erodes your edge. Each small surrender seems harmless, but together they starve the wolf inside you until it no longer has the strength to command. To command respect, you must deliberately feed the wolf. This means choosing fuel that sharpens your presence, food that strengthens rather than weakens, training that hardens your will, reading that sharpens your mind, and rituals that build stamina. Each decision becomes part of the hunt. The battle is not abstract. Picture two wolves fighting within you. One is ruthless, focused, and unyielding. The other is timid, distracted, and weak. They clash every day in silence. Which one survives depends on what you feed. If you give energy to hesitation, excuses, and cheap comforts, the sheep grows fat while the wolf starves. If you direct discipline, patience, and hunger into your habits, the wolf becomes dominant and the sheep fades into nothing. In practical terms, control your inputs. Replace weak phrases with strong ones. Weak: I'll try to be more disciplined. Strong: I am disciplined. Weak: I don't have time. Strong: I choose my time. Weak: maybe tomorrow. Strong: I act now. Language is food for the wolves inside you. Each weak word fattens the sheep. Each strong word sharpens the wolf. Over weeks and months, these choices compound until your presence commands respect before you even open your mouth. Respect is not seized by chance. It is seized by the predator who trains daily, who guards energy like treasure, and who starves every trace of timidity. Do not expect respect to flow to you while you feed yourself weakness. Nourish the instincts that make you formidable. Starve the impulses that make you dependent. The Romans knew it. The empire they built was not born from sheepish hearts, but from the wolf's hunger. Carry that law into your own life. Feed the wolf, and the throne is yours. Life is a chessboard, and every move signals power. Machiavelli understood that rulers who acted without strategy were quickly undone, while those who calculated steps gained advantage even against stronger foes. Sun Tzu wrote that the wise general wins before the battle begins by positioning his pieces with foresight. Grandmasters in chess reveal the same truth. A single careless move can forfeit the entire game, while deliberate patience builds inevitable victory. The principle is universal. Respect is never random. It is the product of calculated moves that others cannot ignore. Your choices each day are pieces moved across the board. Career decisions are not just about income. They are positions that shape your influence. The alliances you form are not casual friendships, but strategic connections that strengthen your position. Even silence in meetings is not empty space. It is a pawn moved forward with intent, signaling composure and control. Those who treat life as random play lose quickly, exhausted by reaction. Those who treat life as strategy endure, accumulating respect like captured pieces until the board is theirs. Picture yourself in a negotiation. One person rushes to speak, eager to prove knowledge. Their words pour out quickly, revealing their entire position. Another holds back, waits, observes, and speaks once with clarity. The first has moved recklessly, like exposing the king with no defense. The second has advanced a rook with precision, changing the entire shape of the board. Which one is respected? The one who understands that every move carries weight. The metaphor extends deeper. Your habits are pawns, seemingly small, but when advanced consistently, they control the center. Your decisions about health, reading, or discipline look minor in isolation, but over time they dominate the flow of the game. Your principles are your rooks and bishops, cutting across the board, shaping long arcs of influence. Your character is your king. If it falls, everything else collapses. Guard it with vigilance. To master this board, you must act with intent. Do not speak to fill the silence. Speak to place pieces. Do not choose opportunities randomly. Choose them because they strengthen your position. 3 moves ahead. Replace weak language with commanding words. Weak, I guess this might work. Strong, this is the plan. Weak, let's hope for the best. Strong, we will make this work. Each phrase is a move that signals either strength or weakness. Over time, the pattern defines whether you are respected as a player or dismissed as a pawn. Imagine the whole of your life stretched out like a grand board beneath your feet. Every decision, alliance, and action places a piece. Others are watching, calculating, reacting. You do not control the moves of all players, but you control your own, and the weight of your presence can force others to adapt. Respect is not begged for, it is earned when your moves show mastery. Play with patience. Strike with timing. Guard your king, advance your pawns, and build your position until dominance is undeniable. Every move is a message of power. Discipline is the forge where respect is made. Throughout history, the most feared and respected men were not the ones who relied on fleeting bursts of inspiration, but those who chained themselves to ritual. The Spartans trained daily, their lives stripped down to routines that hardened them into weapons of the state. Monks lived by strict codes of prayer and labor, mastering themselves through relentless order. Soldiers drilled until every action was automatic, so that in battle hesitation never appeared. These groups understood what many forget. Ritual builds iron will, and iron will commands respect. In the modern world, ritual remains the dividing line. The man who builds daily systems is steady while others drift. Training schedules that you do not negotiate with, boundaries that you do not cross, and routines that sharpen your mind and body become silent declarations of strength. People notice, they see you arrive early, prepared, unshaken by distraction, and they instinctively measure you as more reliable, more dangerous, and more worthy of respect. Discipline is not about being rigid for its own sake. It is about showing through consistency that you rule yourself. The world respects those who are unshaken because most are ruled by chaos. Imagine your will as iron. Left untouched, it rusts and bends. Subject it daily to the hammer of ritual, and it becomes unbreakable. Each repetition is a strike on the anvil. Every morning you rise at the hour you set. Another strike, Every time you keep a promise to yourself, another strike. Each refusal to indulge weakness is heat added to the fire. Over time, what was once fragile becomes a blade no pressure can bend. Your presence then carries the weight of someone who cannot be swayed by convenience or impulse. Respect follows, because the world bends to the man who will not bend to himself. This does not mean rituals must be grand or complicated. They must be consistent. Choose a handful of actions that represent command over body, mind, and time. Protect them as if they were walls around your kingdom. Do not excuse their absence. Do not negotiate them away. Weak. I'll do it if I feel like it. Strong. I do it regardless. Weak. Maybe I'll start tomorrow. Strong. I begin now. Language locks the ritual in place, and repetition strengthens the lock until it cannot be broken. Respect is not given to those who occasionally display strength. It is given to those whose strength is predictable, steady, and unavoidable. Ritual is how you prove that. When others are slaves to moods and impulses, you are a sovereign who commands his will like an army. You are not perfect, but you are consistent, and consistency is feared because it cannot be easily undone. Every ritual you keep is a hammer strike. Every day of discipline is another layer of iron. Forge yourself daily until your will becomes a weapon. Discipline is the fire that forges the throne. The highest form of respect is untouchability, the presence that cannot be challenged. History offers clear examples. Genghis Khan commanded fear that reached beyond his armies. His presence alone shifted negotiations before words were exchanged. Marcus Aurelius carried the opposite aura, not through conquest but through composure. His discipline and calm authority created a sovereignty that no insult could shake. Both reveal the same principle. The sovereign aura is not about noise or force. It is about a presence so steady that opposition feels futile. In the modern world, the signs of untouchability are subtle but undeniable. Body language is the first weapon. Shoulders back, chin steady, movements controlled. Each signal communicates that you are grounded. People sense quickly whether you are easily rattled or unshakable. Imagine walking into a hall where all eyes turn before you speak. The aura is not theatrical. It is not loud or flamboyant. It is the quiet certainty of sovereignty. The room adjusts itself to your rhythm. People straighten, voices shift, and attention locks onto you. This is the throne room effect. To cultivate this, you must remove weak signals. Weak, sorry, but I just think. Strong, here is my position. Weak, I don't know if this is right. Strong, this is the direction. Weak phrasing invites challenge. Strong phrasing closes the door on doubt. Over time, the way you speak becomes as protective as armor. The aura you project tells others not to test you because the outcome is already decided. This untouchable quality does not mean coldness. It means clarity. When challenged, you do not overreact. You listen, you respond with calm precision, and you return to stillness. The challenger feels the imbalance. They see that you are not shaken, and in that realization, they surrender respect. True sovereignty is never frantic. It is composed, immovable, and absolute. To become untouchable, you must live as though every room is a throne room. Carry yourself with the steadiness of a sovereign, protect your independence with discipline, and rule your emotions as tightly as a king guards his citadel. Others may test you, but they will not move you. Respect flows toward the man who is unshaken, because most men are tossed by every wave. The final law is simple. Build an aura that cannot be touched, and others will treat you as sovereign without needing to be told. Your presence must feel like a throne no one dares to approach. Respect is never a single act. It is the sum of every battle you have fought within and every command you have issued without. The throne of the mind, the discipline of mornings, the silence of stillness, the blade of elimination, the mask of appearances, the assassin within, the wolf you feed, the chessboard you command, the rituals you forge, and the aura you carry, all of these converge into one final form. They are not fragments. They are pieces of armor hammered together until they form the sovereign who cannot be ignored. Integration is the law. Without it, you are scattered. With it, you are untouchable. History confirms this truth. The leaders who endured were not one-dimensional. They mastered both inner sovereignty and external command. A general who could not control fear within his own chest collapsed under pressure. A ruler who could not manage appearances lost authority even if he held armies. The ones remembered combined strategy with presence, discipline with patience, silence with decisive strikes. They became more than men. They became symbols of power itself. Respect is born when these elements fuse into a single form. In your life, the same integration must happen. Respect will not come if you only practice discipline in one area while neglecting the rest. You cannot rise early, but let weakness rule your words. You cannot wear a mask of composure, but crumble when challenged inside. You cannot forge rituals, but allow toxic people to eat at your authority. The throne is not built from one pillar, but from many, aligned and reinforced. Your task is to unite them until your very presence carries the weight of a fortress. The reward for this work is not abstract. In the modern world, respect translates into influence that others cannot deny. Fear when necessary, loyalty where earned, sovereignty in every space you enter. People listen when you speak, not because you shout, but because you embody the man who has mastered himself. Opportunities appear because others sense your reliability. Boundaries are respected because they are enforced without noise. The world bends toward those who radiate command, and you will feel it in conversations, in negotiations, in the smallest daily interactions. You will not need to demand respect, because it will arrive before you speak. Picture the final scene. A great hall stretches before you. Columns rise high, banners hang heavy, and a throne waits at the center. The path you walked to reach it was not given. It was carved through every decision, every sacrifice, every execution of weakness. You step forward, not with arrogance, but with certainty. The hall falls silent, all eyes turn, and no one questions why. You do not need a crown placed on your head. You have already crowned yourself with discipline, strategy, and command. This is the coronation. No hand can give, and no rival can steal. You rise as the dark prince of respect, sovereign by your own making. Your daily moves are no longer random. They are declarations. Your stillness is no longer emptiness. It is a weapon. Your rituals are no longer chores. They are fired for the forge. Every element now works together, shaping you into one presence, one aura, one throne. The final law is not gentle. It is brutal, but freeing. Respect will never be hounded to you. It will never come from noise, from pleading, or from weakness. It comes only when you have forged yourself into the sovereign who cannot be ignored. That is the final form, the dark law of respect. Crown yourself, and the world will bow. Noise exposes weakness. Stillness shields power. History is filled with men who destroyed themselves by shouting their intentions too loudly. The rulers who lasted, the generals who commanded obedience, the thinkers who carried influence all understood one truth. Words are cheap when thrown recklessly, but silence sharpens respect. A loud man is predictable. A quiet sovereign is unreadable. When you cannot be read, you cannot be controlled. In the modern world, this law is visible everywhere. The one who floods conversations with noise is quickly dismissed, while the one who speaks little but with precision is remembered. At work, The person who reveals every thought loses influence, while the one who waits, observes, and speaks once holds the table. In relationships, constant demands for validation repel, while composed presence draws people in. Sovereignty is not about never speaking. It is about choosing when to speak so that every word lands with authority. Your reward for discipline is untouchable respect. People will not only hear what you say, they will feel the weight of who you are. Fear will not come from threats, but from the unshaken certainty you project. Loyalty will not come from begging, but from the stability you embody. Sovereignty in the modern age is marked by posture, by composure under stress, and by restraint in revealing your hand. When others fold under pressure, your stillness itself becomes the throne they acknowledge. To embody this, cut weak language. Weak, I hope this works. Strong, this will work. Weak, maybe we could try. Strong, here is the plan. Weak, sorry, but I think. Strong, this is my position. Each shift turns noise into clarity and signals strength instead of hesitation. Over time, this consistency builds a reputation stronger than any declaration. Respect is not begged for. It is not handed out. It is seized by those who master silence, guard their presence, and project command through every move. Do not chase respect with noise. Rule yourself, rule your mask, and strike only when it counts. Rule your mind. Wield your mask. Strike with silence. The throne is yours.